Welcome to your Cancer horoscopes for the week of March 31st through April 6th. It's officially the first week of April. It is officially Mercury retrograde week. Mercury is going in retrograde into a retrograde, and it is a full Aries retrograde. So we are done with Earth sign retrogrades, which have really just slowed things down a lot over the past couple of years. And now we're amping things up with a little bit of fire, which does make them a little bit more scary. I will have to say, for a lot of people, it does make the retrograde a little bit more scary because it is just like communication, like blowing up, and a lot of anger and a lot of frustration. And it can really be easy to just say, you know what, I'm not peopling at all for the next 5 weeks. Well, four. We've already been through the first week of the shadow period. So obviously, most of us can't live like that. I used to um hear a lot of people saying things like, "Oh my God, I'm just gonna go to bed for 5 weeks," and I'm not. Literally, like these people, their whole Mercury retrograde plan was to stay in bed and lock themselves in the house for 5 weeks at a time, 3 times a year. That's 15 weeks of their lives. Now, I'm hearing you cancers listening to this and going, I don't see a problem with that. I have a cancer kid. He never leaves the house. So I get that part of it. But we really do need to learn to live around that issue and be able to deal with it, despite the fact that most of us are introverted anyways. Don't be me. I'm one of those people who's kind of introverted and have to force myself to be extroverted when I need to, and then I can be introverted again. Some people would call that an omnivert. I kind of look at it as I'm not both. I just choose to be what I have to be when I have to be, and then I revert back to my natural state of everybody leave me alone. So we have no planets in Cancer, but we do have Vespa moving into Cancer, and Vespa is what is known as the eternal flame that burns on the hearth. It's really represents that place that we feel the most secure. For a lot of people, not all people, but for a lot of people, it's our childhood memories of a place where we were comfortable in a time where things were taken care of. And we felt secure as in a place where you were safe and you were taken care of and you had food in your belly. And I tend to look to think about because I did have a lot of parts of my childhood that were very insecure. And so, but there was a very small part of my childhood with my grandmother. And so I always see Vespa as being a kid, watching the fire in the fireplace, just kind of, I would sort of look through the flames and the in the wood and stuff like that, and imagine this whole little city that lived in there, and it was all warm and cozy, and everybody was just happy in there, and that was my security place. And to me, that's what Vespa is. She really represents that need to find that security, which really resonates with cancers. The fact that cancers are represented by a crab is the most perfect thing in the world, because the actual crab will come out and move around, but as soon as a predator comes by or they feel uncomfortable, whoosh, into their shells they go, where they're perfectly contained and safe and nobody can get to them, right? Well, maybe not nobody, but in their mind, that's the case. I feel like for you cancers, it's very similar. And this is why there's this need to not leave the space. It's like, if I'm as long as I'm in my space, I'm protected, I'm comfortable, I can relax, I don't have to be who I'm not, kind of a thing, which is great. And during times Mercury retrogrades, especially very volatile ones, that security place is definitely more needed. The problem is that Vespa, even though Cancer is focused on self and fulfilling my own needs. Vespa is bringing this insecurity focus in. So we're really looking at facing issues that create insecurity for us. Really, unfortunately, delving into why we feel insecure outside of our house. Why is it that I have to continuously stay in this place because my insecurities have turned into fear of leaving the house? These issues are very real issues. I have a Cancer rising. So I completely understand where you guys are coming from. In fact, that's probably why I'm a bit of an introvert. However, um, I also understand or have learned why these insecurities are present. It's not because I don't like people. There's really no rational reason to say I don't like people. I do like people. I just don't like what people do. And it's really my own experience with narcissism. That's the reason why I become an introvert, because there just seems like there's so much of it out there that I have to hide in order to not have to deal with it, which is not the healthy way of dealing with it. So with Vespa, really focusing that security in that place that brings up a lot of triggers about insecurity, it means that these triggers are going to happen, whether you can stay in the house or not. It'll come into your house in some way, whether it's through the phone, whether it's through the computer, whether it's whatever. Even maybe it's your family inside of your house that's doing it. But these triggers are necessary in order for you to be able to identify where they come from. If it's always been from that person, that's one thing. If it's not always with that person, it's just a one-off thing. Understanding where that insecurity comes from helps you to be able to release it. Because the truth is that even your comfort zone gets to feel like a prison after a while, and you have to bust out of it. There's so many people that over time they continue to just stay in that security place, so that when they lose it for some reason, they can't function, or they don't lose it, they keep it for long periods of time, and it becomes a prison. Like, you just can never get out of the house, but you're too afraid to leave the house. It really becomes a nightmare. And I see a lot of young people specifically who are, okay, well, I'm just going to I'm going to do makes me comfortable now, and then deal with it later. And you keep that cycle going, and you keep doing it, and you keep doing it. Pretty soon you can't get out of it, and it literally does become a prison. You have to liberate yourself from your own BS, if you know what I mean. That's what growth is all about. So it is a little bit unpleasant, but that little bit of unpleasantness really helps you to understand who you are and where these little thingies come from, because we all have these weird little quirks. And knowing where these quirks come from helps us to be able to give it power or take the power away. And that's really what's going to be helpful, not just now, but for the rest of your life. So that's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do consider sending a tip or donation through my Ko-fi link in the description. Really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic. I will see you guys next week. And in the meantime, you guys just be the wonderful, nurturing, absolutely loving beings that you are, regardless of how everybody else is, because that's what the world needs in order to improve, is all the love that you guys, you Cancers, you Crabbies have for everybody around you. Yes, it is hard when you don't see that reciprocated. It is so hard, but that's not the point. The point is to love despite that. And the more you do, the more you can help make that improvement. So I have faith in you guys to do that. I'll see you guys next week. Make it a great week.